We just finished up our trip to Taiwan, and I always like to make a video explaining everything we wish we knew before we book. That's going to include stuff like why you might want to go to Taiwan, when you should go, how to get around, some things to do, what you'll be eating, how much you'll be spending, and I'll have some other random quick tips at the end. I'll put timestamps to all these chapters so you can jump around to exactly what you want to see. I'll also be posting a vlog style video so you can see our experiences and what we did, so definitely subscribe if you want to see that. I don't want to take up too much time, let's get right into it. So why visit Taiwan? If you click this video, I probably don't have to sell you too much, but here's why I love Taiwan. Much like Japan or Korea, Taiwan has that island nation feel. Everything's extremely well thought out and convenient. It's culturally rich and has something for everyone. In Taipei alone, you can visit very modern electronic markets or arcades, or you can go to Xinbeitou, which has more of a hot spring resort type feel. Just outside the city, you can go to Jiufen to see some ancient architecture. Along the way, you'll see beautiful nature. You get views of the oceans and the mountains. Taiwan's extremely safe, it's very affordable, and it's super easy to get around. And of course, the food scene in Taiwan is among the best in the world. You can find food rooted in Taiwanese culture almost anywhere you go in the world nowadays. So when to go? We went in early December, which is probably the busiest month of the year, but it's a great place to visit during shoulder seasons too. You can catch cherry blossoms in the springs, or fall is like festival season, and the weather's pretty temperate being an island pretty close to the equator, but maybe avoid the summer, it's probably a little too hot, and it's also typhoon season. Okay, so how do you get there and how do you get around? The major airport is Taoyuan. There are bus connections that go from the airport to downtown, but the most convenient way to get there is the MRT, which is like their subway. They have express trains that take about 35 minutes, or you can get there on a local train, it takes about 50 minutes. And keep in mind, these ticket machines are usually cash only. In our experience, the best way to get foreign currency is just bring a debit card that has no foreign transaction fees or ATM fees, and you'll be able to take out cash. Other than the subway system, almost everywhere we went accepted credit cards, so you really shouldn't have a problem there. And one last thing, Taiwan does have autonomy over its border control, so you will be let in without needing a visa, even though you would need one to go to mainland China. So where should you stay in Taipei? Taipei has great public transit, so I will say it really doesn't matter that much. We stayed in the Dan district, which was a little bit cheaper, but it's a little more residential. I would say just try and pick a place near an MRT line. So near Taipei main station is great, very central. Also Ximending will always be popping off. There's a lot going on in that area. And again, very central. Okay, just some quick tips. As far as languages, they speak Mandarin Chinese. It's very easy to learn basic phrases like xie xie, thank you. But honestly, most people speak English. You'll be fine in cities. I will say not much of the signage is translated into English though, so apps like Google Lens can help you translate. And Google Maps or City Mapper work fine for getting around the city. And then as far as power adapters go, just make sure you bring an AB adapter. Okay, all the logistics out of the way. Let's cover what there is to do before we move on to the food. And trust me, there is something for everyone in Taiwan. Now, I'm no expert on every single thing there is to do in Taiwan, but here's just a quick list of the things we enjoyed the most. Most of our time was spent in Taipei itself, and there's plenty to do here for everyone. There's rich history around every corner. You can find temples here, but when I think of Taiwan, there's only one thing I think of, and for some reason, it's not on anyone's list. Semiconductor manufacturing. Taiwan really had a second gold rush with their manufacturing industry. Pretty much any product you want to buy with a chip in it came from Taiwan at some point, so electronics are huge. We went to these two malls, and along the outside of these malls, you'll find a bunch of stores that sell used electronics, and on the inside, you can find brand new or plenty of deals on electronics, and the USD is very strong against the new Taiwanese dollar, so things are gonna be pretty cheap here. I got a used camera lens in a great condition for a really great price, so any electronics on your list, you can definitely find cheap in Taiwan. So we also frequently book activities off one of those websites that have basically every activity. You know the ones. Tiffany loves arts and crafts. You can see my Japan video where we made the rings. This time it was leatherworking. There's all kinds of leatherworking shops in the Dihua district, which is an area kind of known for its more traditional shopping. Usually the trips we take are very focused on one particular city, but I always recommend taking some kind of trip to the outskirts or just leave the city at some point. So we did mostly stay around Taipei, but we did a bus day tour to a bunch of different locations. Yehliu Geopark, Shifen Waterfall, Shifen Old Street. All these locations are a short bus ride from Taipei. As far as each of these goes, the Geopark was okay. It's kind of just a bunch of rocks, but it's right on the ocean, so the ocean views are very beautiful. We also stopped at a little spot where you can make one of those lanterns and light the inside and watch it go up into the sky like you see in all the festivals. This has always been on my bucket list to do, but this area was kind of crowded and it was broad daylight. Not exactly what I had in mind, but still fun. Shifen Waterfall is very beautiful. You can get some good pictures there, and there's a nice little koi pond area and a terrifying rope bridge leading up to it. honestly Shifen Old Street, which is really the most popular tourist destination outside of Taipei, I think. The story here is that back in the day, this place was known to be the most luxurious place in Taiwan. So gold miners who struck it rich would basically come here and spend all their money. It's full of award-winning tea houses, and you can really feel the history of this place as you walk around. If you've ever seen Spirited Away, the town from Spirited Away was apparently modeled after this place. Full of lanterns, street food, tight alleyways. Really picturesque, especially at night. I'd recommend at least a stop here. As for Tiffany, her favorite things are art stores, beauty supply stores, etc. And anywhere you go in China, you're gonna find great prices on these things, and Taiwan is no exception. So we were in stationery stores, we were in some beauty supply stores. We also ended our trip with a food tour. I did a whole video just on the food of Taiwan, so go watch that, but I'll give a brief overview of what the food's like. One last bonus activity, a little bit on the outskirts of Taipei is an area called Beitou or Xinbeitou, and this area historically was built up during the Japanese occupation of Taiwan, and you can definitely see the influences. It's almost like a Japanese style hot springs town, but in the middle of a city, but it feels very remote. There's beautiful parks and libraries and luxury hotels offering private hot springs or high tea sets, and we definitely partook in this. So I would really encourage you to look into things that you might be into and go off the beaten path a little bit. Okay, I'll briefly talk about the food in Taiwan, and there's a lot to talk about. Taiwan is a world famous food scene. They have the obvious staples like bubble tea or xiaolongbao or soup dumplings, and these have become world famous. You can also find staples like the beef noodle soup, the guabao or pork belly bao. You can even try the sticky tofu. In addition to these staples, Taipei is known for its night market for its street foods. We went to Linjiang, but there are night markets all over the city. Definitely make sure you have cash for these. That's just a brief overview. Like I said, definitely check out my other video to get a full idea of what you might expect to eat. Now, if you are looking for vegan or vegetarian, primary religion in Taiwan is Buddhism, so you will find restaurants for that kind of stuff. I found a website where you can search for just vegan or vegetarian, so I will put that down in the description. Hopefully that's helpful. But not every restaurant will have options, as has become the norm in other places of the world. Okay, wrapping up here, I just want to talk about budget and costs. Taiwan is very affordable. I mean, we were getting bowls of noodles for like $3-4 with beef, and for restaurants, you won't spend more than 10-20 USD per person. Our Airbnb was just over $100 per night, and using the MRT will be less than $1 per ride. We loaded up our cards with like $20 when we first landed, and we were shocked how far that took us. And of course, if you're looking for more upscale options, Taiwan does have that too. Okay, last thing, I just want to go over what to pack really briefly. I made a whole video on packing that pretty much applies to any scenario you ever want to pack for. But for Taipei, you're definitely going to want some comfortable walking shoes. You'll be walking a lot. It doesn't get that cold in Taiwan, so maybe just a lighter jacket for the colder months if you're going, or pack very light if you're going in the hotter months. Really nothing crazy to pack for here. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a like and please subscribe to the channel. Try and do a video like this for every place we go, and at this point we've been to a lot of places, so check out those other videos. We've been to Japan, we've been to Seoul, we've been to Hong Kong. Next up's gonna be a video on Busan, and we really love Busan, maybe even more than Seoul, so definitely look forward to that. Check out those videos, and I will see you all next time.